another Q&A. I love doing these now, and it's because I just love the questions that you ask me. It's so fun. You don't just ask about Chanelle bags. I think it's like my third one, I can't remember. I am going to LA in a couple of days. I booked it very last minute yesterday, so this will probably go out when I'm in LA. And I asked you some questions on Instagram a few weeks ago, and they were so interesting. I want to share the answers on here, and there were so many that I didn't get through. So if you're not following me on Instagram, I often share Q&As on there. So just to make sure that you know I'm not making it up, because I don't want you to think that these questions are like, I don't know, I made them up myself. I started halfway through, which is a bit silly. So yeah, there they are. I guess we'll just get into it really. I'm wearing a cashmere at home outfit. Tallulah's very clingy today, so she's here. It's Tallulah for anyone that doesn't know. Got Bambi, she's in the office with Paris. Okay, so I think I'm gonna start from the bottom and go all the way out, up, and stop until this camera cuts out. So, do you have, I'm literally going to start with the first one. I never checked them either, so I only answered like the first 30 when I was asked these, and there's about 200, so I haven't seen the bottom ones. Do you have a 5-year plan? If so, what's next? I'm also not going to read out the compliments because I find that a bit embarrassing and cringy. Okay, so yeah, always 5-year plan, 10-year plan probably. And actually this is probably a good time to share one of my favourite quotes, which is, don't forget that you used to dream about what you have now. So I'm definitely an achiever, and if I buy myself a handbag or achieve a goal, I'm literally straight on to the next thing, which is a really good trait to have because it makes you achieve. But then it's good to find the balance, which I'm trying to find, where you actually appreciate things that you've achieved and things that you've reached. So I'm trying to work on that at the moment and not be so like obsessed with the future, because I think for once in my life I actually need to like balance and accept what I'm doing. But I think my two biggest priorities for me, actually 3, that bloody conservatory is still in there, but we're getting very close to that. So the conservatory would be the 3rd. The 2nd would be the other business that I'm working so hard on, and it's taken a very long time, but that is definitely my future, our future. And the number 1 thing would be children, which is probably a lot of the questions. So when is your engagement ring ready? Will you show it to us? I'm actually going to LA next week to collect it, so if you head over to my Instagram, because I'm probably going to reveal it on there, and seeing as I'm in LA, it's probably on there now, so of course I'm going to share it with you. It's half the reason why I'm going back. Would you say your spending habits have changed recently, more investment? Definitely. I think everybody's changes, and you get more, I'm going to speak from mine, and I think it's quite relatable, that when you get older, things do become, you kind of get over things. So if I ruin a pair of shoes, or like my Chanelle leggings the other day, which by the way in my last vlog I showed how I repaired them myself in 2 minutes, I just don't get bothered. I'm like, you know, I understand that this could happen when I buy it. I would prefer to invest in like retiling the bathroom than a handbag. And whenever I do buy a handbag, I'm always thinking, can this be passed down to someone in my family? Is this something I want to keep in my family? Whereas before I was just buying because I loved it, and that was kind of it. So yeah, I just think you just get overall more responsible. What is the main reason for you and your mum being so close? Love your relationship. I think quite a few things actually. My mum is responsible for me being such an achiever, I think, because both of my sisters are like that. We're all very driven in whatever we do, and I think that's obviously some of our personality and our character, but I think it was my mum. And my mum was so my mum was never strict with us, never. She was so lenient that I was never scared to do anything or be naughty, but then when you were in trouble, you were in trouble. So she got that balance really, really good. And I don't know, we've just always, we've always just been close. All of us are close with my mum. I think because My mum and dad are divorced, and my dad was terminally ill for so long that my mum was literally the leader of the family. So I think that's just, she's so strong and the leader, so I guess it's just that. But my mum is literally my best friend. Like, everyone in my family are like my number ones. What was the most challenging part of your marriage for you, and what's the best? The most challenging part for us is that we're opposite, and the best part is that we're opposite. Opposites do attract. It's just we had to learn that at first. So it's, once you get over that, like the fact that he's even foreign, it was a big thing. Because I'll give you an example. Where I'm from in Essex, it's a big culture to have, and so many of you are going to agree with this, to have a boys' night and a girls' night and lads' night and girls' holiday. You don't have that in France as a whole. People go out together, and there is no such thing as boys' nights. You will not go to a bar in France and there's like a load of lads out with a load of girls in the corner. It's just not how they do it. So he could not understand when I was like, I want to go on a girls' holiday. And I actually went to LA after like 3 months of knowing him, and he did not get it. And I was like, bye, you have to learn this quick. And I had to say to him from the get-go, I will have my girls' nights, I will wear fancy dresses if I want to go out. And there was such a block, and there was things with me with him. So I think, and now it's fine, he understands it, he actually enjoys that side of the culture, he now loves these boys' nights. And I also learned things from him, and I think it's like bettered us both as people. So I'd say that. I have developed eczema on my eyes. Did you find anything that helped? Did La Mer eye cream help? So La Mer is still a great, one of my go-to products that I've used for years and I will always use. It's just so gentle that as an everyday beauty product, I definitely recommend it. I'm quite surprised by Clinique because I didn't see this with an eczema related product, and I actually avoided it for quite a while, and it wasn't until my mum kept using it, kept telling me to use certain products, and I used the Clinique Clench. I'll put the link below, but it's the pink Drench moisturizer and the makeup remover. And then I'll link below an eczema product that I found in France that has saved my life. And 50% of my eczema is stress and your diet, so just try and keep on top of that. Need your help, which colour for Mini Kelly? That is such a huge decision that you need to go with what you like. I like classic colours, and I went with black because I wanted it to go with everything, but I'd also wear the grey. I would have worn baby pink, but you know, I still would have always picked black. So you might not like wearing black, or you might have so many other black bags, so that you have to go with what you love. And the only tip that I can give you is, what's the bag that you use the most? Is it a bright pink one? Go with the bright pink one. Next 3 bags on your wish list. I just want another Hermes bag, basically. Others I fall in love with and I get bored of them, so I get over it, and I'm not bad. There's a bag that I really want from Chanel at the moment, 2 actually. I could even stretch to 4. And I just get over it after a couple of weeks, and I don't know what's happened with Chanel. So ever since that SS19 collection, it's kind of gone like a bit viral on social media, and people have worked out how you pre-order things, which I don't mind at all. But it's become one of those brands that's just everywhere. I can't explain it. So if I see a bag, I just know it's going to be everywhere, and that for me loses the appeal. And I don't mean that in you know, of course I'm going to buy another bag again, and I don't mean disrespect to anyone else, but I'm just saying that I get over it, and there'll always be another bags, and I'm just so set on finally doing my house, so I'm not really that bothered. Have you ever struggled with sad periods, and if so, what have you done to help? Always. I think everybody does, and fortunately for me, I always see something bad happens to you that you should, she's so cute, you should turn it into a positive, because it's the only way. The only thing I have struggled to put that into motion is when you lose someone that dies, because nothing good comes of that at all. You just have to try and reap things from it, and the best thing to learning from that is that it really is, there's no better thing happening to you no, said that wrong. There's no better way of rebalancing your life and priorities than that. So it's the only good thing that happens from that. and that's what makes me get through it. It makes me look at life in a whole perspective. And my dad being terminally ill and us growing up with no money because of that, is actually what's made me and shaped me. And whenever I have something bad happen, I just think your health is wealth, your health is everything. I know what it's like to lose someone, I know what it's like to have real problems, and that always makes me, and if you are lucky enough to not have that, just think of the other people that have that. And if you're going for a breakup, which is so, it's just so painful, I know how that feels, we all know how that feels, you have to just, it shapes your character, and you need to experience lows to experience highs, and it's just a part of life, and you learn from it, and something always better comes. If you get dumped, someone better will come. If you lose a job promotion, you'll get offered something else. Like, I strongly believe in this, and you have to put out the powerful thinking. And more than ever, I have shared on Instagram that I'm struggling with something a bit at the moment, and I'm normally fine with it. But when you can't get away from someone, it's hard when they're there and they're like really having a presence on your everyday life and your career. It's really, really hard, and you have to just dig deep. And I just rely on like a chat with my mum, basically my mum or my best friends or some people in the industry that I trust so much, which is only a handful of them. And they understand the industry and they understand everything, so they can give me really good advice and a really good outlook. And I think I just lean on friends and family. So I hope that answers it. But yeah, we all go through bad things, even if it's something small that you know is small and doesn't make an impact on your life, or whether it's something bad. I try and use the same things. What was your very first designer piece? Mine's really predictable, actually. I went from aspiring to buy a Reese blazer when I was at uni to buying my first bag, which was, I think, a Vivienne Westwood bag on my work allowance at Harrods. I had a couple of ex-boyfriends that bought me, you know, the little pochette Gucci bags and the little pochette Louis Vuitton bags that back then used to be so cheap. They used to be like £450. They don't even exist anymore, not even a makeup bag. Had a couple of those. My first bag was a Vivienne Westwood bag, and I used to see it that in Harrods on the ground. It's all changed now, but on the basement was that Michael by Michael Kors, Vivienne Westwood. And then on the ground floor it would go to Givenchy, Saint Laurent, and then it would go to the super brands. And I basically made my way up that floor by floor of Harrods, so that's how I see it in my head. What's your relaxing thing to do? What's your favourite relaxing thing to do? Being at home and hanging out with my mum or my sister. Like, Paris even says to my mum, like, it's so cute, he'll ring my mum and say, Claire's a bit down at the moment. Like, even if I'm just a bit stressed with work, when I'm a bit hectic and I'm a bit like work, or I'm a bit down about something not important, he'll ring my mum and say, oh, like, Claire's happiest when she's with you, can you go out? And we'll just like go to Home Sense or something. But I love being at home with my dogs, with Paris, watching a film with the fire on. It's literally my favourite thing to do. Or a spa. If you could only keep one luxury item, what would it be? I actually really love all my fine jewellery. I think that you can just wear them every day, wear them with anything. They have meaning. Paris always buys me jewellery. This is my De Beers. I normally wear my De Beers ring every day, actually, but I haven't worn it today for the first time in months. But my De Beers jewellery, my earrings and this, they remind me of my wedding day. So they make me so happy. And then my ring was gifted to me by the brand, and I have a bracelet gifted from the brand, and it's a really special collaboration that I will always remember, and a really nice achievement. And it was one of the first, I was their first long-term influencer that they took on, which was such an achievement, and it's so special to me. So I think it would be my fine jewellery because of the sentimental value it has. Where's your favourite place to travel? I like LA or the Caribbean. I'd love to go to Barbados, Bahamas, Hawaii, Seychelles, Australia, China. I'm actually going to China with work soon, so I'm really excited about that. Where do you get your inspiration from? I think we all get inspiration from everywhere. Mine will be like people like Dolly Parton, Elvis Presley, Freddie Mercury, like I will literally just look at them, and like I can look at Dolly Parton, one of her shirts or cowboy boots or jackets that she wears, and I'll start thinking of it, of how to like style my cowboy boots, or how I'd like change that shirt into something of my own. Like just things like that I get inspiration from. So many things. I'd say like travel, 20s, 50s, 90s, 80s. I think just reinterpreting what's been around into your own style. I think that, and then I think just, I don't know, a natural flair. I really don't know. Do you respond to DMs on the gram? All day, every day, and it's a pleasure. Sometimes I'll open up I'll normally go like this and stop. I'll answer like the first 20 to 50, and then I'll just stop, and I'll always stop on someone that like really needed to speak to me, or something that is just amazing, and I really believe in that, because I feel like I'm being guided to answer the right people, because I can't answer everyone. So I do try, and I do it every day, all day, without fail. Have you ever bought a super brand item that you thought was not worth the money, quality wise? No. The only things I would say is like the Chanel jumper that I bought, or the Chanel jacket I bought. I know I'm not going to wear them a lot. The Chanel jacket maybe not, but like the jumper with the CC, I know I'm going to wear this more. So cost per wear maybe not, but it's a passion and something that I love. We're halfway through, so I've got to hurry up, it's going to be so long. So yeah, no, not really. I think I'm quite experienced in knowing, I don't know, styling is my job, my career, and I used to research everything in Harrods and sell them to clients. So I think experienced over the years, and I'm quite responsible with what I buy, believe it or not. Are there any luxury bags you would recommend for men? Buy whatever bag you want. If you want a pink Saint Laurent bag with glitter, you wear that. But I would just say maybe take into consideration the size. I have a friend on Lee who works at Dior, and he loves his bags. He's got my trendy bag, but bigger, and he's like similar size to me, but he likes that, the way it makes it look a bit more masculine. So I'm going to leave his Instagram in the link below. He also works at Dior handbags, so he'd be more than happy to help you. And I think recommending someone with that strong point is good, so I'll put his Instagram below. What does your mum do as a job? Ooh, my mum used to be a social worker, now she works in the police department. What's your bucket list travel destination? I just said that. Fave, sweet treat, everything. My favourite thing at the moment is the Co-op, if any English people know the Co-op, or you do. It's not my favourite supermarket, put it that way. I don't really like any food in there, but they do these sugar laces, and I'm not a sweet person. Like, I love chocolate and cake, but I don't like sweets, and I'm addicted to them. Fave music band, singer, I love Fleetwood Mac, Dolly Parton, Elvis Presley, Bob Marley, these kind of people. My only modern people that I like are Lewis Capaldi and Adele. I literally sing their songs like I am a full-time singer. How are you getting on with your braces? Hope they aren't too painful. Great, best thing I ever did. I took a long time doing it for my fear of the dentist. My teeth are so sensitive, I can't even have them cleaned by the hygienist with the machine. I have to have it hand done because it's so painful for me. But I go to the London Lingual in Wimpole Street with Dr. Chatty. He's so patient, he's so calm, he's such a perfectionist. I cannot recommend him enough. I could have gone somewhere else and paid less, but he's done it in less than a year. He's transformed my teeth, which has transformed my face. People all of a sudden think I've had fillers because my face shape looks better when my smile is wider. Can't recommend him enough. Did you know Paris was the one? I did not believe in seeing someone, and like my sister's been with her husband since she's 16. I never had that, so, and I never thought at one point I was like, I'm never going to get married. Like, I was that person. I met Paris, and I can't explain it. Actually, I know how to explain it. When you put on a wedding dress, you just know it's the one. Like, when I put my wedding dress on, bit awkward because I went and bought fabric, but for me, I knew when I like wrapped the fabric around me, maybe because I can vision what it's going to look like, but I put my fabric on and I was like, yeah, that's the one. And I knew in my heart that was the fabric. And I've spoken to friends that when they put their wedding dress on, they're like, yeah, that's the one. And that's the only way I can explain it. And it's just, it was just a feel. I wasn't like butterflies, fireworks. It was like no feeling I've ever had before, not had since, where I met him. And I was like, just true content of like, yep, I'm gonna marry him. And I text my mum, and she still has the text on an old phone. She never checked the phone because of that. And it says, she always knew when I was going out and would always talk all the time, and she knew I was going out after work. And I said, oh, she was like, have a good night. And then I text her at like 1 in the morning saying, oh, I've just met the man I'm gonna marry. And I remember it like yesterday, and I just knew I was gonna marry him. And I remember asking him his surname, and he told me, and I said Claire, and I said the surname like all together. And I was like, okay, well that's that. I knew in my head that was gonna be my surname. Can you do a video please for styling plus size girls? I would love to do this, but I'm just a bit concerned how I'm going to do it, because I'd have to pull a load of clothes from brands, and I think it would be fine. And I need a model, so that might be quite hard. I don't want to ask someone to do plus size and it offends them. I don't know, but I'm definitely thinking about it. Also petite girls, which I'm lucky I can use my sister. I'm trying not to pick the same questions because some of them are the same. How did you find working in Harrods? I've only ever worked in department stores, and it could be catty. Oh really? Is that English? So Harrods for me was the best foundation to my career. I did work before that. I did styling since I was 14, assisting, and I did PR, I did fashion PR, I did fashion magazine, I worked at OK magazine. I did every aspect of fashion. I knew I wanted to style, but I did every aspect just to make sure. So it was catty, but I mean, you try vlogging, that's nowhere near as catty. I found it just the best foundation. I got the best training, and it was so competitive, and I love that. Because when you start doing well in life, especially something like fashion or beauty or something, it gets so competitive. And that kind of prepared me, not fully, and maybe I'll answer in another question, but just stick to what you're doing. And I became one of the top sellers, and one of my friends was also the top seller, and we're still friends. We're not best friends because she went to America, she went and lived in all these different countries, but we're still great friends. If we was to bump into each other, we have the odd chat. She's also friends with Christine, who's a lot more social than me, and they see each other more than me when she's in London. But we were both great sellers, and even Christine was a great seller, and it never came between us because we were confident with what we were doing. And they can be, you can all go in, we'd go into a meeting every morning, and I wasn't an SA, I was a fashion specialist, and if you did not hit your target, you were in trouble. And if you got more than one warning, you were off the team. And there could be more than one person at the top, there was no big deal. So I just think get yourself in the right crowd, and if everybody hates you because you're selling more or something, that's on them, not you. Is there any chance you can share more about your career as a stylist? I was just fixing my Chanelle trousers, and I had my stylist bag with me, and I didn't show it, so I said, do you want me to show that? So maybe if you want me to do a video on like how my styling career went, and what you need to be on set as a stylist, like what you need in your bag, like let me know and I'll do it. Favourite baby names at the moment as inspo for mums to be? I've had my girl name since the moment I met Paris, and it's not changed, and it was a name completely like, I'm not going to talk about it, but I'm not sharing that yet. Tip for an interview in Harrods: wear black. No joke, wear black. I remember when I was working at Harrods and coming to the end of working there, I either wanted to go somewhere else or do what I'm doing now, and I ended up going for an interview at Topshop Personal Shopping, and that's why I love going to Topshop Personal Shopping so much, because those girls are me 10 years ago. And I remember in the interview the feedback was, and I realised it wasn't for me because I wanted to stay in luxury, but they said I was very Harrods and 2 luxury, and I never forget what I wore. I went with black Louboutins, black tights, a black fitted Balenciaga dress, I think a Chanel bag, with my hair like makeup, and that is not Topshop, and I laughed to myself because it was so instilled in me. So Harrods are very much about appearance. You have to be neat, and I agree with this. When I go somewhere else and I see someone in a scruffy pair of shoes, and you do not need money to have scruffy shoes, you can clean your shoes. Like, no mud, no scarves. You can buy £2 black shoe shiner, less than that probably, and clean hair, clean makeup. I was never into my makeup when I started, and you know, I was young, I didn't need it as much, and you have to be clean and fresh and pristine, and just make sure you're that, and whatever role you're going to, research it well and be passionate. I was so passionate about my interview. I knew everything about Harrods, and I think that went a long way. And I did have an exam, a fashion awareness exam, and I didn't know I was having that, but be prepared for something like that and just know what you're doing, because it's going to be, whatever it is, Harrods is the best of the best. Whether it's an essay or a buyer's role, whatever it is, just be prepared to be the best. When you were in LA, were you looking at buying houses? Yes, we were, but unfortunately, it's the worst in history for the pound against the dollar, and it is not a good time to buy something in America. But we are going next week, and we are going to be looking at more houses. I don't know how I feel about it. In an ideal world, I want to keep this house because I would just feel safer, and I think I wouldn't want to move permanently, but I'd want to live there 6 months. So I might leave it a little bit longer so I can have the dream house that I want and still keep my other dream house. So it's definitely on the cards, and I'll be very upset if it doesn't happen one day. So no one's going to get there. No one's going to get me the house unless I work for it. So that's the end goal. Will you come to Rome? I hope so. Could you do a meetup soon? I would love to, or a workshop. Wow, what an idea. I never thought of actually doing a workshop. I would love to, but I'm just waiting for the right one for me, in the right location, with the right brand. I have been offered some with brands that I love and I wear, but I'm not sure it's for me. So if you know I'm doing a meetup, please know that it's like one that I've been waiting for, that I really believe in. But I do want to do it. Why did you change your Insta name? Just because Claire Chanelle is my real name, and I just, like, blogging changed. I made I am Chiquette when it wasn't even a thing. I had a full-time job, and I just want to be known by my name. Like, some people would be like, oh, I'm Chiquette, and I've been in a room and someone's called out I'm Chiquette and Claire Chanelle, didn't know it's the same person. I've really got to wrap this up now. It's just too many good questions. You seem really balanced. How do you put yourself and everything else equally? I don't. One of the best things I ever did was get a cleaner. I wanted a cleaner for so long, but because I didn't grow up with a cleaner, it felt very weird to me. And then I couldn't find one that I trusted and that was doing it well. I do have brittle asthma, so cleaning is like one of the worst things for me. And although I found it really therapeutic and satisfying, there gets to a point in your career where spending 2 days cleaning, because that's how long it takes to clean my house, spending 2 days, it was not worth it money wise, and I knew that for a long time, but mentally it was good for me to do it. And I have a cleaner that is just, she's the best ever. She's been here 5 times now for 5 weeks. She's the nicest person in the world. She cleans and organizes like no other. I'm actually going to employ her for an extra day to do organization, my wardrobe and stuff like that. So I think hiring people to help you out is really good, and because Paris is so laid back, I'm always like, work, work, work. I can't even go to dinner without like, so we're going to do this and this contract, and you know, we have this, and he's the opposite, so that helps. Do you plan on investing in Hermes exotics? I'm not for exotics at all. I don't wear real fur. I don't wear exotics. I've been offered huge luxury campaigns for an exotic brand that is in Harrods. I've been offered paid campaigns for fur, and I never take them. I don't talk about what I feel about fur because I feel like people will take it the wrong way, because I eat meat and I wear leather. But just know that I don't like it, I don't wear it, and I never have done. I'm never going to. When will you do your new closet be ready? So my plans were made 6 months ago. and it took me a long time to work out. It took me like a year to work out if I wanted them open or closed. It took me 3 years to play around with the layout, so I bought IKEA cabinets to do that, and I'm finally happy with that. I've had a few carpenters come round, and I just have to have someone that sees my vision, so I think I'm very close, and I'm hoping before Christmas. If not, it will be early next year. Do you and Paris want children? It's okay if it's not in your plans. That's a nice way of wording it. Yes, I really do. I think I put my career first, and I don't want to dwell on this too much, but I think that when I was 30, in an ideal world, I feel like maybe that would have been a good time, but you know, that wasn't what God planned for me, so I didn't do it then. And always people said to me, you will never be ready, you will never be ready, and I think you have to know that in yourself, because I was like, let me just do this, let me just hit this goal, but then I hit them goals, and I was like, but let me do this, and let me do this, and then I realised after 3 years of doing that, I was like, light bulb, you're never ready, there's always more. So, yes, definitely is the answer to that. If you weren't doing this job, what would you have done? So don't laugh at me, but I really wanted to be a lawyer, and I do think I would be good at that because I can hold my own, and I love researching, and I just find it interesting, which is the most. I know there's different areas of law, but I find it all interesting, and I think that's the main thing. And I really wanted to be an athlete. I used to run for Essex County, and I didn't carry it on for 2 reasons. One, I was so terrified of being injured, and that was that. And there also wasn't such thing as social media, so at the time it wasn't something where you could, like, 1 in 10 athletes would do super well because they got sponsorship to be on a Gillette advert or something, but the other half just kind of dispersed, and I was always worried about that. And also I'm asthmatic, so that also really worried me. Okay, I think that's it. How tall are you? 5'6". Do you have beef with any other influencers or good vibes? Always good vibes. If it's not good vibes, I get the hell out of there. Takes me a bit too long to know sometimes, but just get out of there. And if people have beef with you, which yeah, that does happen, let them have beef. Like, let them do it. And if they try and make that beef public, leave them to it, because yeah, I do have that. Just leave them to it, honestly. Favourite Jo Malone fragrance? I'm wearing Jo Malone today. I love the red roses or the velvet rose oud. I love Jo Malone because it's not too strong. I can't wear strong perfumes because of my asthma. I've never smelt a Jo Malone scent that I don't like. What did you study at uni? I studied, I just love doing this, it's going to be 45 minutes. I studied fashion prediction, and I think that fashion prediction and predicting trends is like something that I think is natural to me, and then I studied it, so it is one of my strengths. Knowing, like, some people say to me, oh, what, like when I was at uni, they'd say, oh, what's in fashion next summer? And I'd say, just go and buy this magazine, because next summer is easy to predict. You literally just watch what's on the catwalk, so I could just watch what's on the catwalk in September, and that will be what's out next year. This is easy. Trend prediction is actually knowing 2-3 years before. So I studied that. I studied fashion design at uni, I studied marketing at uni, and then I got a distinction after that from the London College of Fashion for studying all areas of the luxury industry, from buying to fabrics, textiles, manufacturers, selling, marketing. What else did I do? I think that was it. Yeah, that was it. Them two. I'm trying to start a YouTube channel. What do you recommend? Unfortunately, they've made it so hard. Like, I used to love YouTube because it was the platform where whatever you put into it, you'd get back out, and it's kind of not like that anymore, which is really unfortunate. The amount of time I put into my YouTube channel, I don't get enough back as it is, so I do it because I love it. We both love making videos, but if it carries on going the way it is, I won't be able to make them anymore. But just stay true to yourself. There are a few bloggers that kind of change with the wind. Like, if stripes are in fashion, they'll wear stripes, and if everybody hates stripes, they hate stripes. And don't be like that. Like, wear what you like, because if you're someone that's like, I love green, it's my thing, and green has been out of fashion and bleh, for the last 5 years, but you love green, when green comes in fashion, you will blow up, because you're the great green queen and you know everything about green, and you like green when everyone else didn't. So use it, like, just be true to yourself. And when you're true to yourself, it makes you more popular, because cracks are starting to show with people that change with the wind, and they're luxury one minute, they're not luxury. Yeah, you can wear luxury and Primark the next day, like, do what you like. I'm known as a luxury channel because I like it, but I will wear high street, I'll wear charity clothes, I'll wear whatever I like. If anyone wants to brand me, they can, but just stay true to yourself, because the cracks will show in the long term if you're just trying to jump on a bandwagon. So be true to yourself. Try not to watch too many other influencers, because you'll start to, like, I don't know, pick up things that you shouldn't. It will help you, it will stop you being creative, it will hold you back on being creative. You have to be consistent, constantly upload and put out content. There's room for everyone. Do not let it stop you that it's too saturated and blah blah blah. It just means it's becoming an established job in the industry, which is great. So just go with it, follow your passion. Just know that you have to get a job at the same time, and it can be quite hard, but if it works, it will be really good, so just go for it. Why did you not decide to have children? I didn't not decide that. I would love to have children, so yeah, I did not decide that. I just put my career first, did it a little bit later than what I would have liked, but I always just say it's in God's hands, and if I'm blessed, if we're blessed, that would be really great. So the camera keeps cutting out because I'm filming for so long. It cuts every like 10-15 minutes, and now I have a sunbeam here. Tudor's getting fed up. Lots of the same questions. Is it hard to be friends with other influencers? That's one I haven't had before. No, it's very easy to make friends in this industry, because when you first start, Maloney, are you sulking over there? So when you first start, you're not earning any money, you're not earning enough money normally on the whole to pay for a team. I know I couldn't, only like last year I have employed other people for blogging. So you're actually quite a lot on your own. Even when you have an agency, you work on your own. So it's actually really nice to have friends. Plus, I don't like talking about it all the time with my friends and family. I hope you can see me with that big sunbeam behind me. So I like talking to blogger friends about it, and I just find that really, really nice. So yeah, it's actually very easy to make friends, and I have social media friends that some I've met a handful of times, and some I speak to like every single day, and I've never met them, but I class them as my friends. So definitely easy to make friends. The one thing I will say, and I want to just be completely truthful and talk about good and bad, is, oh, this is so annoying with sunbeam. How about if I come forward? No, let's move you over here. That's better. So in anything, in any industry, there are going to be people that are not really your friends. It's just life, it's just how things are. You know, you could be a social worker, you could be, you know, a dentist, a teacher. There'll always be someone that has a hidden agenda, no matter what you're doing. I do think it's quite rife, is that the right word, in blogging, because if you think, it's quite a vain industry. It's quite a new industry as well. So I don't consider myself vain compared to some people, but I have friends who don't even like taking a picture of themselves. So if you put me with them, yes, I am vain. So if you put all of these people together, and blogging is very me, because your brand is about you. You're styling things on yourself, you're doing makeup on yourself. So some people can cross the line of being me. And this is when it can be a bit difficult to be friends, because they're not treating you as like an equal. From my experience, it's like they want you to be one of their, I don't know, workers, or doing something for them. I don't know how it works with everyone, but that's the experience that I had, that I have had before, when people can get a bit wrapped up in what they're doing. And I have learnt since then that, yeah, influencing is a job now. It is opened up to thousands of people, but you're still not Beyonce, so That's how I see it. And I think that there's people in this industry, and I do not name names, so even when it's praising someone, I'm about to praise some people, but I do not feel comfortable naming names on the internet. Some people indirectly talk about me and it's just not on, and I think if people continue to do it, I probably will say something to them. But there are people in this industry that are like the veterans of blogging, and I'm lucky enough to know a couple of these girls, and you can learn from them. Like sometimes they'll reach out to me and I think they think I'm like a Bambi on ice. I need a bit of help, and they've actually helped me with advice of, look, like someone gave me some really good advice once that I so badly want to give them credit, but I just think it's wrong to. That they said you can be friends with everyone and not fully like let them into your soul, and it was excellent advice, and I really struggled, and half it's my fault because hopefully this is helpful to you as well, because I learned the hard way. I generally found it hard to have friends and work colleagues, because even at Harrods we were all lone rangers, you know, we were walking around Harrods on our own. We were like, it's like how blogging is really, you're working with other people but not really, you're on your own, you've got your own sales targets. But from Harrods I was up against, my team were the best sellers in Harrods. There were some others that weren't in the team, but we were known for that, and it was very strict. If you did not meet the target, you were gone. People like Christine and our other friend Gemma, we were the top sellers, but we were like that. Christine is still my best friend, so there you go. I think that, yeah, that Ray's gone now. So I didn't experience this before with friends, and it was my fault. And I've actually had a couple of friends in our offices that have literally told me how you can have a friend, you can have mates, which I understand, but I didn't understand that you can have friends in the like colleagues that you generally like, but there's a line, and I didn't understand that. And I was like, you're my friend, you're my family, you come into my home, you take whatever you want, and sometimes that's not the best. So, and some people are very ruthless in this industry, and I do understand it after all these years of being off the back of something like that. I understand now, because you should always put yourself in the other person's shoes. I understand why they're ruthless. Like, we're all in it for different reasons. No one's right, no one's wrong. Some people can, you know, if blogging ended tomorrow, who's going to be okay? Who can fall back in another profession? Who will still have the same lifestyle? And I understand that for some people it won't be the same, so they have to be a little bit more ruthless, and all the respect to them for living that life, and I have a different life, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to understand why they are so ruthless. And then you get the competitive ones, and being competitive, this is a very detailed answer, but it's something I have a lot of experience with, and taking me like 2 years to understand it. So hopefully you find this useful. But some people are very competitive in this industry, and I think that's great. I really, really do, because to be somewhere, you have to be competitive. I've been away with girls that are so competitive. They want to put the best content out there, and I love that. I love being around other girls and boys, whatever. I love being around people like that. You just have to know how to be kind as well at the same time. You can be super competitive and get super to the top, and you do not have to climb on others to do that. And I would say that most people are like that in this industry. I think they're very competitive, but they're respectful, and I think most of the people are like that, so it's not so bad at all. But you do get the ones that do have hidden agendas, and probably the best way to describe it is too ruthless. And I finally worked out what's what after being burnt, that some people are ruthless, and without being bitter about it, I understand why they have to be ruthless. It's just not for me, because I am on a different path, and if blogging ended tomorrow, I'd be fine. So without getting into too much, and I have had help and advice from people that are like, you know who the top girls are, I don't have to name them. They're girls who are like been here for ages, they've earned the respect in the industry. Like, there are some people that names come up and they're loved by everyone because they truly are a pleasure to be around, to work with, to work alongside with, and they're the other people that might get the numbers, but they're very ruthless, and everybody in the industry knows it. But it's a business at the end of the day, and we all have to be professional, and we all have to just go along with it. But people are aware of the behaviour, so this means everything to me, that this is where I find the sanctuary. So hopefully you do this as well. So if there is someone that is in your work industry that it is hard to make friends, or you know, people just climbing all over people, just know that it does get seen eventually, and if they do continue to get promotion in the office or whatever, then that's fine. Just you do you, let them do them, and know that it you know. So that's how I've learned to deal with it, because people do see these kind of things. That was a very long answer, but we have another friend question. What's happened? Oh. How do you know when a friendship has come to an end, and how does one deal with that? I personally haven't had many friendships that have come to an end. It's happened to me on less than one, like I can count on one hand how many times that happened. And I would say for me, it has been, I would say the most common is when you're getting to know someone, and I think I think you really get to know someone in 2 years. Personally, that's how long it takes me, because in 2 years you can have ups, you can have downs. Someone can't keep up the same character for 2 years if they're fake, and if they do, they normally trip up after 2 years. So for me, it takes 2 years to really know someone. I think that I've had friends that are becoming on the way to be friends, and then after like 6 months, I'm like, oh no, you're not my kind of person, and or you've done a bit too many things, and it's only been a few months, and I'll kind of keep a distance. This happens to me often. So if you're referring to friends that you've been friends with for under a year, don't feel guilty about that, because you've just learned to get to know someone, and there's nothing wrong with being like, oh, like this person is not making me feel good, or they've done this and we've only been friends 6 months or so. So I've experienced that, and that's fine. And if I was to bump into these people again, I don't have an issue with them, because I never got to know them that well. If they've done something quite bad to me, that's my fault for letting them do that, and lesson learn and just move on. And I truly believe that everyone has a nice side. Like, there are a couple of girls that I've had run-ins with over the years that I know, and I actually have experienced a really nice side to them as well. I'm thinking of 2 girls in my head that I'm not particularly fans of, but both of them have nice sides, and I've had good times with both of them. And sometimes you might clash and go your separate ways, and that's fine. I don't believe in the whole seasonal friend thing. That's not really okay. You don't just drop someone because it's a seasonal friend. I don't know where that come from. If it's someone that's long term, then for me, I've never had a lost friendship where it's something that I've understood. So if you have lost someone, something must have happened along the way, and if you're completely bewildered, that's very hard to deal with, because you don't know what you've done wrong. And in my experience, I would ask them what you've done wrong, and I just want to make sure that you know I'm not making this up as well. You see? I wanted you to know that I wasn't making this up. Yeah, so if you have had this experience, then I would ask them what they've done, what you've done wrong, and if you don't get an answer and you can't sort it out, then I would just walk away from it, because it's maybe their issue and not yours. Because real friends, they have ups and downs. Like, I've got quite feisty friends, and we will say what we think, but we don't normally really argue. So I've always really kept my friends, but we have disagreed before, and that's very normal. So I think if it's a real friendship, you'll sort it out. And if it's something that's happened really badly, then you just have to go your separate ways. And if it's something that you don't understand, you could, maybe they're going through something, then you can say, is there something I've done, and is there something I can help you with? If they still don't want to know you, then I would just walk away from it, which I know that can be hard. It's like a divorce, isn't it? It's not very nice. So I think I spent a long time answering those 2 questions. I'm just about to film a luxury haul. Then I'm filming another haul that's kind of like the Vanguard project with new up-and-coming designers, but it's different concept, so that should be fun. I filmed a vlog about my home and styling it, and like showing you a bit of my house. And then I'm going to LA which I told you I'm going to LA next week, so you can expect an LA vlog. So thank you for watching. I would love it if you would subscribe. Isn't she beautiful? Oh, you beautiful, Maluli. I love her so much. Okay, see you in the next one. Bye.